All right then. Hi everyone. Welcome to another session with SwiftXR, and today we are going to be showcasing, how you can make use of SwiftXR for creating your portfolios. And just before we go ahead, we will do quick introductions about ourselves. To get started, let me just go ahead, right? Hi everyone. Oluwatosin, a technical community manager here at SwiftXR, and I have amazing team members with me here. Ahmed, would you like to go next?
Awesome. Thank you, Tosin. Hi, my name is Ahmed, and I'm the lead engineer or head of engineering at SwiftXR.
Hi everyone, good to be back here and happy to meet everybody again. My name is Isiak and I am the head of growth at SwiftXR.
Awesome. That's great. That's really awesome. So today we have a lot of things packed for each and every one of us for this workshop session. And to get started once again, I would let Isiak, introduce us basically to what SwiftXR is. And from there, we would go into the technical session. And immediately after that, we would have a session for question and answer. So please just keep the questions ready for that session. And Isiak, it's over to you.
All right, thank you, Tosin. So, everybody, welcome again. I'm just going to be taking the next couple of minutes to take us through what we are doing at SwiftXR and why that is important for you as a user or a potential user. So SwiftXR allows you to share your 3D designs or 2D designs if you're an artist easily to the web, and you can easily take that to augmented reality and virtual reality. So for us, we see augmented reality and virtual reality as another layer of what you can have, but the core thing is the ability for you to share your files and designs easily with the stakeholders and anybody, pretty much anybody anywhere on the web. So the agenda, like Tosin has rightly said, is we are going to have like an intro to SwiftXR, which is what I'm doing right now. Then we are going to like right on this call again, I'm going to be talking about the use cases. Then I'm going to be passing the mic over to Ahmed for the live demo. All right. So what is SwiftXR? Right. SwiftXR is a no-code where that allows developers, 3D and 2D artists to create interactive experiences easily, and this allows them to share their designs faster. By sharing their designs faster, they are reducing publishing time by 99%, and it's also saving like 99% of development effort. The time that you are going to use to write code, the time required for you to go through all of the technical processes. So SwiftXR is already taking 99% of that away. And by using SwiftXR, you are saving 98% of publishing costs. So you don't have to spend too much on hosting your 3D model on the web, hosting your website. SwiftXR is already taking care of all of this. So why should you use SwiftXR, or like why are people building with augmented reality? There are already 3.1 billion mobile devices globally that are already positioned to take advantage of web AR, and companies worldwide have spent, businesses worldwide have spent over 18.8 billion USD as of 2020, and that is only growing. So 71% of consumers say that they would shop more often. They will shop more often if they are able to use AR. So by using AR means that they are able to preview what they are going to purchase. So imagine like somebody wants to purchase a piece of furniture rather. So they are able to preview it in their space even before they make the final purchase. So this is by this people are saying like they are going to do more of those purchases if they are able to just view it in AR first. Then the focus for SwiftXR basically is, we are looking at non-technical users, which means that people that don't want to write code, or like people that don't really need to write code. And again, the reason why we are doing this is because we believe that creating a web AR or web VR experience should be more of a design challenge. Like how do you want to present it to the client, or how do you want your user to consume it, more not than it being like a coding challenge, because nobody really cares about what code you write. We are not concerned about who wrote the best code. What you want to see is the end result, and that is why it's supposed to be more of a design challenge than it's been a technical or a coding challenge. So we are also very bullish on ease of use. So we are always iterating to have a platform that makes it easy for you to bring your assets, drag and drop it into SwiftXR, and boom, you are able to immediately view it across all devices. So developers looking for quick iteration and prototyping, like since I mentioned something that you can use like very quickly, so you want to consider this for your quick prototyping and for you to share your file easily. So developers, 3D artists, and businesses that want to boost their client engagement. So instead of sharing 2D pictures of what you want to sell or what you want your users to see, if you have a 3D model of this, your users are able to look at it around, from different sides, and they are able to immediately consume what that looks like. And even more, they can bring it to their environments, which is pretty cool. So how does SwiftXR work? You can publish an AR or web VR experience on SwiftXR in 4 easy steps. First one is you go to SwiftXR and create a project. After that, drop your file, just drag and drop your 2D or 3D file into SwiftXR. Then once you have dropped your file, you then click on deploy. Immediately you click on deploy, there is a URL. A URL is generated for you, and you can immediately share this with anybody anywhere, and you can also view it in AR. So what are people building with SwiftXR, or what have people built with SwiftXR? So we've had a real estate developer build, you know, an interactive real estate experience on SwiftXR. Um, this allows realtors and other, real estate investors to see what this business is going to look like after it's been constructed. So this way, you can give I mean, the people that are going to live in the building can actually live in it before it's been built, that kind of thing. Like they can explore, see the different parts, and they can immediately, right before it's being built, they can make informed, like well-informed decision about what they want to change and how they want to change things. Also, artwork is one of the really cool things that people are building with SwiftXR. So if you have an artwork somewhere, instead of sharing that to the image or carrying the artwork around, if you are trying to show it to somebody, you can just bring the 2D image of that artwork into SwiftXR, and immediately we are going to convert this to an interactive 3D object for you. Then you can share this across to anybody. They can also take it a step further and have it as a virtual object on their walls. This way, they are able to immediately consume what it looks like when they actually have the painting or the artwork in their environment. Then we have interactive 3D blog posts. This allow you to um, more on the educational side. So this allow you to train people, and while you are training people, while you are telling people about different things, instead of them consuming just the image and looking at maybe pictures, you are showing them the 3D objects. This time around, interactive 3D objects that they can see and they can, consume. So yeah, these and many more things are what people are building with SwiftXR. We also have like projects that goes, outside of what I just mentioned. People are now creating avatars and building portfolios on SwiftXR, and this is why we think it is important that we bring the whole portfolio building thing to the community and let everybody take advantage of it. So thank you very much, everybody. If you have any question, when we get to Q&A, you can drop me your questions. I will be happy to attend to them. Ahmed, over to you. Or like Tosin, sorry, over to you.
It's fine. Thank you very much, Isiak. And very soon we will just be going ahead to start the technical session itself. You can get your laptops ready, and we would be creating our AR/VR projects swiftly. All right, then, Amit, welcome. Okay, so we're just having slight technical issues. We would get started soon enough. If you have any questions at all, you can drop them as well in the chat, and we would be answering them during the Q&A session. And if you've not started, you can just visit swiftxr.io, register, and you would get access to the SwiftXR platform, which we would be using today. And amazing, Amit is back. Are we ready to go? Awesome.
Okay, can you hear me? Thank you. Can you hear me? Awesome. So, welcome everyone to the interactive portfolio creation session. So again, the goal here is to see, how I'm going to use SwiftXR to create my personal portfolio. So we'll start with, what we want to do, right? So on our side, we have our UI UX um, lead that's already created, what this portfolio is going to look like. So right here, we're going to have our Ready Player Me avatar. We're going to have our name here. We're going to have our title here. We're then also going to have description about, who the person is, and then just links to the social. Then we also have the mobile view of it. And then the goal is to see how we can use SwiftXR to create this portfolio. So I'll go right to SwiftXR. If you're coming for the first time, what you want to do is you want to go to, you're definitely going to land on our website if you're coming for the first time. And you need to click get started or get started, any button works. Now, once you click the get started, you would land on our platform. If you've not registered before, you would require to register and log in to come in. Now, once you are here, you want to create a project, right? So you can think about a project as the way you also have different kind of Google or Microsoft Word documents, right? You need to create a new document. So it's also the same way you'd also create a new project. I have a lot of projects I've worked on. That's because I'm using SwiftXR for quite a lot of time. So I'll start by creating a project here. I'll select a blank page because I want to start from scratch. And then for my project name, I'm going to call it Hamed Portfolio. You know what? Let me just call it Portfolio. If you want, you can give it a description, or if not, you can also give the description from the editor itself. So I'll start by my portfolio, and I'm going to create the project. Now, once I'm created the project, everything comes in fine, no problem. So I'm landed on the SwiftXR interface itself. The top panel gives you the option to go back to the hub where you had before. You have your account where you can switch from a personal account or to the SwiftXR team account, which I am currently on. Yeah, I can see the current credit we have on SwiftXR. And yeah, I can manage my account to do other stuff like buy credits, see my account documentation support. I can also sign out. Right at the top, I can move from mobile view here to desktop view. I can toggle my theme from light mode to dark mode. With this, I can pan around if I want to. This is going to help me reset the canvas back to the default state. I can preview the web page here. I can enter full screen mode. I can undo, redo. I can clean the canvas. Here, I can view my source code. I can embed the project if I have already published it. I can export it as zip file in case I want to publish this app on an external website, or I could just also publish it from SwiftXR. So the first thing I want to do is by looking at the design, right? I can see that it's made up of the name tab here and also like another box. So I would want to use two columns, right? So I'll start first by going to the layers tab shows me what I have in the canvas. But if I go to my component tab, I can see basic components. You can see the 3D and e-commerce component. You can see the art component. You can also see the avatars component. So for here, I want to start with the basic component first. And I'll start by dropping a column. Now I'm dropping the column here so that I can initially first understand, okay, this is the initial box. So I've dropped the first column. Now I need to have a name here. And I need to also have another box here. So for this, I can drop a text, which is going to serve for the name. And I can also drop another column here, which would also serve as this particular box that I have here. I'm also free just like adjust this like this, you know. So we start with our initial concept. Now for the name here, the name here is Tosin. So I could as well go to the specs and I can copy the name. And right here, I am going to paste the name to Sogoyebi. You could give it some. I can go to typography. Yeah, that would help me style the name. And I'm going to give it a Georgia because I do like Georgia. And my font size, I'll give it 36. Oh, Tosin name is too big. Let's do a 28. So we have Tosin Goyembi. Yeah, I think I should just use the vertical. Let me follow our design pattern. And it add a little bit of a bold, so I can make it bold from here, from typography, font weight, and I'll give it a bold. And Tosin Goyembi. And I'll make this 24. So once I have Tosin Ogunyebi there, then I would have my next column. So for the next column, I'm trying to now add the community manager, this tab, and the avatar here. But by looking at this clearly, right, I can see that this particular section is obviously divided into two. So I have this section here, which is community manager and this, and I also have a section here, which is the avatar. So for this, I'm going to use a 2x2 column. We understand that there might be need to have more columns, like 2x2 columns, 3x3 columns, 4x4 columns, and we're actually actively working to. We're going to have a new component on SwiftXR that would make you set the number of columns you want to have. That should be coming out soon. So yeah, I'm going to drop the 2x2 column, and I could as well just make this one go back up here to match. It works. Then I could also adjust this person to match also. So yeah, we have our left and we also have our right. Now this might be a little bit tricky. So I guess what I would do instead is I'm actually going to go back to my layers, right? I feel like I've added too many columns here. So I have my initial column, I have a text and I have a row. So instead of doing this, I will delete this. And what I will do is I'm going to add just a 2x2 column right under the text. So this way it's a much more neater approach. And I'm just going to drag this down. So now I have my name, I have column 1 and I have column 2. So right in this column, I can now come and drop, the name of my role, description, also my socials, and I can have my avatar. So I'm going to first start with, what should we start with first? Quite interesting. Let me start with the name first, and then let's start with the description. So right here, I'm just going to put, so this is going to be the role, and the role that we have here is community manager. And also, it's super important whenever you're trying to paste on SwiftXR, it's always good to paste as a plain text because our system is designed in a way that we can actually read all the HTML styling you would have if you paste it normally. So what this refers to is if you paste as a paste, we can actually read like all the styling that's coming right from your web page. So it's always good to always paste as a plain text. So right here, you can just do like this and just paste as a plain text. For a description, I'm also going to copy this and I would paste this here, paste as plain text. Right, so first thing is first, I have my community manager and I also have this. So let's first start by, adding all our major components we want to add. Then after adding the role and this, I need to also add the avatar components. Now for avatar components, if you just go to our component right under avatars, you have the Ready Player Me avatar here, and I would just drop it here. And once you drop it there, if you're logging in for the first time, we would need to, allow Ready Player Me to authenticate you, authenticate SwiftXR, and make the system ready. So I'm just going to wait for it to do that while I'm doing other stuff. And yeah, right, it's loading the Ready Player Me avatar. I'm just going to minimize it and come back to that one. But you can see by default, right, we've already loaded like our sample, avatar. So whenever you drop any Ready Player Me avatar, by default, we are going to drop a sample, model, which you can always change by just clicking generate your avatar here. Okay, good. So just waiting for this to initialize. Once it's done, we'll come back here and we can customize our own avatar. Now this is based on internet speed. So my internet speed is not really the best currently. So right for the community manager, we also want to give it this kind of spacing and all. So we would use all vertical. So I'll go back to the design tab and I would give it an all vertical. I'd also make it bold based on what we had. And this is bold. And right here, it's also an all vertical. So I would also make this an all vertical. And is it bold? It's a little bit, not really bold. But yeah, works. Okay, now the next thing is you want to do is you want to give it the spacing that is hard. So if you look at this properly, you see that it's a little bit designed in a way that it's skewed, it's spaced to the center. And for that, you really just need to click the parent column that is holding this name and the description. And by clicking that, I'll go to the layout, right in layout, right in this align items or right in this arrange content, I'm going to do center, and that's going to make sure that we space it to the center. That's what we want to do. Or you could obviously still do space between, and that's going to put it up and separate it based on like the space that's at the center. But for now, we will do justify center. That's going to separate the center. We also want to add a rule gap based on the rule gap that we have here. And for that rule gap, I'm going to create a rule gap of 20 pixel. That creates that rule gap there. The text component is also like, it has a lot of padding. If you look at that, the padding is, then I can say, but it should do have a padding like 50 pixel. So for that, I'm going to click the text component and write in the dimension, we should have the padding. I'm going to create a padding of 50 pixel all through. I should, like, I think 50 up, then maybe 20 by the side. Then 50, the bottom should also be 50. This should be 20, and this should be 20. And with that, we've created a padding that we needed there. Then for this one also, it's also going to be 20 padding for this. And I'm going to create a top of 20, the right of 20, and the left of 20. Maybe we could leave this top as 10, and the bottom as 20 also. Okay. And yeah, we have our initial concept. I'm going to shift this back up until we had what we need. So I will justify it as flex stats. That's going to move it back up. But instead, I would give it a padding top in my dimensions. And this would be, give like a 20 pixel padding top. That's going to give it that spacing that we need. Now, as you can see, like you can really like play around with SwiftXR. You can build a lot of stuff as long as you understand, how to use this design tab, from what layout means. Layout ideally is going to affect how you, space objects between them, such as, do I want this to be spaced, down? If I change it to up, you can see it's going to switch it back. Community is going to now be down, and this is going to be up. If I change it back to down, it's going to switch it back. Then your dimension is going to affect things like, like your width, your height, your margin, your padding. So padding is the space you are given between the box and the actual object inside it itself. Background will be around background color. So next thing we want to do is we need to now customize our avatar. So let's see if this is by going to the properties tab of any model, generate avatar, and let's just wait for our avatar to come up. Still waiting. Do that for now. Okay, so let's do the like the global padding. I know. So by doing this, I think we have some couple of shadow. Yeah. So if you look at this, this has a background color right here, and we can fix the background color easily by going to the text component, going to design, writing background. You have option where you can actually add a box shadow. That's a box shadow. By clicking the box shadow, you can see we already have that effect of the shadow there. And I can as well just adjust the color and say, okay, I don't want it to be too dark. You know, with this, we could make the blur a little bit smaller by using 2. And that gives us that, effects of, so try to preview it and see how that look like. You can see we already have that effect of the shadow around the community manager. So I would also do the same thing here by going to the box shadow. What color do we use here? If I look at this, it was 2 pixel. We use an F1. And I'll come here also, and I'm going to create the color of that to be F1, and the blur would also be 2. By doing that, we also have this guy here. And right to add the link to your socials, I can come here and I can drop the link 1. Yeah. And ideally for us, what we want to do is we want to switch this link to actually be this these images, right? And to do that, I could delete this contact us component inside here because we actually don't need that contact us component. And I'll go to the files. This is going to allow me to import files into SwiftXR. By clicking import files, I can bring in some of the images that we have before, which is the Facebook and the Twitter. So I'll start with Twitter. And by dropping the Twitter components right here, we actually want me to drop it inside this box. So I'll go to layers and I would drag it to be under the button link. And you can see by doing that, I now have the Twitter icon directly under the button link. Now I could adjust this one to say we do not want the width. The width should just be 50 pixel. Height, sorry. We could say we want this to be auto, so that's going to make it adjust to this. So yeah, that just makes it a bit more. We could as well reduce the padding to 2, to 2, to 2, and also to 2. And with this, we finally have our Twitter button here with the link. And to connect to the link, just click the button link in your layers, go to your properties tab, and you can specify the URL that you want it to go to. And for this, I'm going to just do HTTP /Twitter. So this can obviously this is my Twitter handle, and it can also be your own name. And that's also the same way you would do for the other kind of components you want to have it there. If you need to customize the color of it, you click the button link, we go to our design components, to our design, and right in the background, I would adjust the background color to be white, which is what I want, and this is it. And we could also adjust to see if it has a border. It does have a border, and we can set it to be none. Then we can add a box shadow to it to give it the same effect that we wanted there. Give it a blur of 2. We can also adjust the opacity of the shadow so it's not so dark. All right, here we have our Twitter button working. And with this, you can see we have the name of the person, we have the rule, we have the description, we also have the link to the place. So now it's now time to now focus in on our final styling. So the way this look like, the initial padding, this hard with the spacing. So to do this, we would click this particular column. So the two columns that we have, yeah, they had some initial padding. Or we could as well make the padding come from the parent object, which is the row, which is holding the two columns, which is this left column and the right column. So by clicking the row, I would go to my dimension and I can adjust the padding all through to be 20, to be 20, to be 20, and to be 20. So that gives us that initial sort of like gap that we have. Now the background color is this kind of ash color that works for us. So we'd as well go to the row, which is the two columns. That's what we want. And by using the two columns, we can go to the background and we can set the background color to the color that we wanted there by pasting that color that we got from Figma. And that does that. I need to make all this text a little bit bigger. So let's use that 18 here. And we could use like a 16 here. 18 here. Just gonna do this. Yeah. We also do have, I think, a global page padding, like a 50 pixel up and bottom. And by doing that, because of we've placed all these objects inside a particular row, so it's so easy to now say we want to style the row. So by clicking this row, I can go to the dimension and I can set my padding. I think it had more space toward the left. So yeah, I can say, you know what, I want my padding right to be 50, my padding left to be 50, my padding top to be 20, my padding bottom also to be 20. And with that, we've created that initial spacing that we got with the white effects and this. There's a little of spacing here. So what we could do is by clicking this row, we can specify it in the layout and say, you know what, we don't want any column gap. So that way we can eliminate the spacing there, and that just closes this one out. And now we are getting really close to our design already by having our name here and the icon here. So next thing is there's obviously spacing in this object. So we would click this column and now it's time to style it. And we would go to our dimension and we would also give it a 20 pixel padding all through. And you can see I'm working with like an actual UI UX design, and I'm just flowing with it and I'm implementing it. So you can imagine a level of possibility that you could also do with your own level of designing, and it's just up to you to design how you want your design to look like. And these are actually white colors. So what we'll do is we'll go to the community manager and we're going to go to the background color and we'll give it a white color. And that's white it up. And yet also we'll also give it a white color and that white it up. And by doing this, I think this button link should actually have some extra padding just so it matches it properly. So let's do like a 5 pixel or two. Yeah, and with this we have community manager, we have discussion about the person, we also have the logo. And to even make things better, what we could do here to actually have more objects, because you notice that, right, if I come to this button link, right, and I duplicate it, right, you can see what happened. It goes down. And that's because we've already said we wanted this column to keep, we wanted to if you look at our layout, we said we wanted it to happen down. That was the direction we give our content. We want it to happen down. So what we can do for this particular object is right in our column, we can drop a new component here that would be just like that kind of column. And right in this column, we would now slot in all our all our social link right inside that column. So I could go to my layers. This is the row column that we want. This is the column. And I am going to move the button link right into the column. I'll move this button link also right into the column. And now you can see we have this inside the column. Now to make our column now move to the right, you can just specify our direction, and yeah, I can just say right. I can see how that just does it instantly, just takes it right to the right hand side. You can also specify your column gap. That is going to give you the gap between these two buttons. And yeah, I can say, you know what, I want it to be 20 pixel, and that will create the spacing I want for me. Now, if you look at our design, right, we really don't have any spacing between these columns and the parents. So what we could do is to start, now say, you know what, our parents row would always have by default what we've configured on SwiftXR, a 10 pixel padding all through. So we can also just eliminate that, and that would allow um, all the objects to reside in the same spot. You can see with this, we have this. And for this, we brought in our Facebook icon. Yeah. So I'm going to click this, click the image, go to the properties tab, and I could easily just drag and drop the Facebook icon there. And I just switches it instantly to Facebook. And now you can now configure your button link. And if sometimes if you feel some of these icons are kind of confusing you, what you could do is you could as well just double click on this guy and and say what, I want to rename this particular object to like social links. So that way you're sort of like clear on, okay, what component am I using for which component? I see now social links there, and that works. Then button link, for example, I could, for example, call this Twitter, Twitter link. I could as well also call this Facebook link. On Facebook link now, I just just the same stuff. I'll call this one facebook.com. I don't know what my Facebook handle is, but I just like facebook.com. And with this one, and pretty much, we have our portfolio right and kicking. Just this guide I'm waiting for to load, which I'm wondering why our already primary avatar is taking. I might just need to just refresh my page. But with this, right, just come here, you configure your avatar, and then I'll try to refresh this page. But before then, let's work on the mobile responsiveness. So you can see the way you have the mobile, right, which is like this. Wanted it to be like, you know, manager is here, his icon is here. Because the truth about the matter is, most of the people that will actually view your portfolio will be viewing it from a mobile device. So the question would be, how would you switch to the mobile device? So by clicking on mobile view, I can see technically what's going to look like, right? And my question would be, is this what I want? So first thing, this is not definitely not what I want. So I want to first adjust my padding because I made it 50 pixel for the parent object right in the desktop view. So my mobile view, what I would do is I'll go to my row and I would go back to my design tab and say, you know what, I want my right to be 10 because it's obviously a mobile device. It doesn't need to be so big, so I can make my 10. Protector is smart enough to help you calibrate, right for your mobile device and right for your PC. So if I go back to my desktop, you see it's still, maintain the 50. But when I go back to my mobile view, it now adjusts to what I have designed I wanted to adjust. So right here we have our icon. So we could also just say, we have a little spacing here. So I can move this guy up to match it based on what I want. And with this now I have my avatar, and I think there's also like, you can also look at the padding that we have here. So the padding for this guy is 20. We could take it back down to 10. So we have more space here. You could also just take this guy also up. So that matches what we want. So we have our portfolio, up and kicking. I think, yeah, these are also whites, complete whites, all true. Then confirm. Yep. And if you've actually configured already Premiere Avatar, we have our feature here that can actually help you animate it if you want it to raise your hand up and up. So if I want this particular Ready Plan Me avatar to be waving, I could just pick the one hand wave. And it's going to generate me the avatar to raise one hand. So, so I think the only thing we've not touched yet is the Ready Plan Me avatar, which is still loading. So what I'll do is I'm just going to refresh this my page. And of course, I mean, SwiftXR automatically, saves all your work, so you don't worry about actually saving. So I'm going to come back here and try to, open the Ready Plan Me again. And again, like this is largely dependent on your internet, so it depends on how on how fast your internet connection is. Just gonna give it a little time. Sure, it's coming up. That's right. Okay, while we're waiting for that one, we're just gonna try to publish this project so we can just at least see it's um working. So I'm gonna go here and you just click publish. So by default, we would generate a random name for you. Again, we try to make sure that this name is unique because as people try to deploy on SwiftXR, we would match the name to other site names on SwiftXR. So you could as well just make sure that you're setting a name. If this is the name you want, you could see the URL here. If not, we can specify our name. So for this, I will call this Tosin SwiftXR portfolio. And with this, I am going to publish it. Now by publishing it, we're going to bundle the project. That means we're going to, get it as a zip file. We'll calculate the number of credits it requires to publish the project. And once we do that, we are then going to, subtract the required amount of credits from your project. And you can see now it is published successfully with the link, which you can also share in the chat. And you can also try to, scan a QR code in case you want to scan it to your mobile device. You could share the link to Facebook, to WhatsApp, to Twitter, to LinkedIn, depending on what you want to share it for. You could also try and unpublish it, right? But what happens when you unpublish? So when you publish on SwiftXR and you're publishing it the next time, we only take one credit as long as the size of your project is still the same size that you're publishing. If you make any changes to the size, it will just calculate the difference of the size and compute the difference. Oftentimes, it's not always so expensive to update your project. But if you unpublish your project, we lose access to tracking that project, and that means that next time you're going to publish, we would charge you as afresh as if you're trying to publish for the first time. And with this, I'm going to open the project. You can see nicely I have my projects. I think the only thing missing is that from the Figma, yeah, I think it's really correct actually. It's really correct. Just seems like this. Okay, good. I think everything is set. If I click this button, it takes me to my Twitter page. Okay, the account doesn't exist, I used the wrong handle. But if I click Facebook, it also takes me to Facebook, which is good. And yeah, that's works. The other thing I'm seeing is just that I can see the color of this object is different from this color. So what we could do for that is I could also just copy the color that we have here, which we know is this one, and I will go to the Ready Player Me avatar itself, and then in the design tab, I'll go to background and I'm just going to paste color there, and that should now match it what we have. Match it what we have here. Yep. And with this, I would just update my publish. which technically should only take 1 credit to update. Yep. And with that, I could just, just refresh since my link is still the same thing. Like I said now, right, you can see the color of this background is the same color as this one. And, everything is perfect as what we wanted. Now, so beyond just like, have your avatar wave to you, you actually insert your link to your work. And that's what makes SwiftXR really cool. Again, as a 3D artist, right, you have a lot of 3D objects to work with. So what that means, you could actually even take your portfolio to the next level, right? I could come here and say, you know what, I have a new column, which I can drop here. And right in this column, I could, maybe not a one by one column, actually, let me drop like a two by two column. And I can drop it here. And right here, I could say, you know what, I have this model I've worked on that I want to showcase as my portfolio instead of just having a picture. I can go to my files. I can drop, say for example, it's a box. I can drop the box here, which I can see. Just scroll down. You can see the box here. And I could, you know, also come to my components, go to my basic and drop a text component there too. And say, you know what, model maybe of a box, you can as well tell your story also. Maybe, this can also be the description of the box. That's really how you can actually, take your portfolio to the next level, by actually building website that stick, website that showcase your actual work, no website that actually showcase just 2D images. Yeah, I mean, Tosin, I think back to you, right? I'm just gonna leave my Ready Player Me by one side to load, but you can actually come back up. I'm really surprised that the avatar is
That's totally fine. Thank you so much, Ahmed. That was quite an interesting session. And we have the
okay.
comments.
It's up.
And just before I continue, please go ahead. Continue.
It's this is very funny. Yeah, it's up. I can see that this is up now, for example, right? I'm just gonna this particular cap that I love to use so much is by Pooh Bear. I'm just gonna switch my cap. And you can see now I have my cap. And now I could just say, I'm just gonna press next. And what we actually do is we're actually gonna download the actual avatar itself back to your scene. Just wait for some minutes. Yeah, but also I think you can actually you can come back up. You can just keep talking while I'm just finessing this.
Sure, sure, sure. The rest of the team is back here, and while that kind of loads up for us, we want to take the few minutes we have left rather, to get the questions coming in. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask them. Just drop them in the chat. We would attend to them. And we have the very first. This is more of would I say, not really a question though, but a user here says, I was trying to log in and it wanted me to publish a template and it wasn't allowing me to do anything else until I published. So I made this here and I think he would be happy to just give updates on
Yeah,
what
I mean,
that is
first
about.
thing, like I'm really surprised that my URL is taking so long to download like this. It seems my internet's yeah. Really good question, Emmanuel. Right, but what we do actually is because we are running through like an onboarding process. So what we do is we require like every registered user that's coming in for the first time to actually publish a project on SwiftXR. So this is going to enable you to understand, okay, this is how SwiftXR work, this is the output of your URL. So once you've completed the initial onboarding, then you're actually free to, run anything you want to run on the platform without having any disturbance.
Awesome. Quite an interesting approach. So we want you to learn by doing, even before you, create something from scratch, which is quite amazing, I would say. And we have this one is a comment though. We have a user here that says this is super cool. And just to continue, we have another question. So the question here says, how long will the generated URL be active for? Brilliant question.
Yeah, so ideally, right, we currently every URL generated on SwiftXR is valid for 2,000 views. Again, if you are a avid or a normal user, we expect that URL to take you, like 3 months, ideally if you're just using it normally. But then if not, you then need to pay the same money, the same number of credits you used for the initial publishing. But we're actually upgrading our pricing plan by um 25th of October, and we're taking all views of published project to 5,000. So your URL can be active for infinity as long as you don't exceed the number of views.
Amazing. So your URL is always active so far you don't exceed the amount of views. And if you do, I believe you can always um, work on adding more credits to keep it active, right, Amit?
Exactly.
Awesome. That's great. So please, if there are any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. And while you do that, I would like us to know as well that you can send us feedbacks via our feedback form, which will be shared in the chat with us as well. So please feel free to send us feedback. Feedback is really important for us at SwiftXR as we want to build the best platform for you, and we can't do it without you guys. So the link to our feedback is in there. So please kindly make use of it, and we will be really, really glad. All right then. Any other questions? Okay, so we don't have any other questions at the moment. But Ahmed, is the Ready Player Me component back? Are we able to see that?
Oh my, thank God.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's back. So you can
Okay,
see,
so we have, go on.
so you actually have this, and of course, as you can see, the same process that we did. Once you have your avatar, like right here downloaded, um, you could just also just click your Ready Player Me and go to your. I mean, I always like the action. I think that's more like me. I'm just joking. Yeah, and with this, shouldn't take so much time. Yeah, I think there's a question chat.
Yes. So quickly to address that, we have a comment here that says, I just tried to replicate the site you made and I was actually following along, but the whole interface was still new to me. We totally understand that, and we have video tutorials as well that can also help you get started using the platform. And just at the bottom left corner of the screen, Amit is sharing with us, you can access the video tutorials directly from the SwiftXR platform.
Yep. So literally anything to watch. If you want to watch about like how to use Ready Player Me, you can watch it. How to use the columns components, how to use text, how to use link, how to use image. What of your we have everything right in the editor for you to watch.
Great. Oh, interesting. We have another comment that says, it was cool. I was able to add my Ready Player Me also. Amazing. We're happy to hear that.
Yeah, I mean it seems it was even able to add the Ready Player Me avatar before I was able to add mine.
Interesting.
I mean, all thanks to your internet.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So we have another comment that says, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. And with that, I think if there are any questions at all, or if you have feedback for us, we would be happy to answer them. You can join in via our Discord channel. We would be happy to have you there, and you can share what you've worked on as well via our Discord channel, where you can get to meet other creators using SwiftXR just like you. And in a couple of seconds, we would have that in the chat as well, so you all can have access to it. So, Ahmed, would you like to share with us some of the things SwiftXR users should look forward to as time goes by? No spoilers, but you could just share with us some of the things the users should look forward to.
Yeah. And I mean, first thing first is we're having like a whole lot of work and currently happening in the engineering side, regarding making the interface much more accessible. So as time goes by, you should start be able to use this interface much more fluidly and even easier. In terms of components, we should be adding a store component really soon, and this is going to enable you, right inside SwiftXR had over a million 3D models, so you don't need to actually step outside of SwiftXR to be downloading 3D assets. Right inside SwiftXR, if you just need to just drag that store component, and you can add like a million of 3D assets into SwiftXR, and then you can create as your interactive sites as long as you want to create it. We'll
That's
also have a lot of stuff happening in arts and NFTs, happening soon. So you could bring your art into SwiftXR and, generate it. I think I never even showed that, right? That's right. Let me just show that actually. So if you go to art actually, which I think is a component people don't even know so much about. If I go to art and I drop my artwork viewer here, so of course you can see I have this art. But what it does is it asks me to drop like an artwork here. So if I go right to my files and for example, let me drop this Facebook icon here and I drop it here, you can see we're actually able to convert this Facebook image into like an actual 3D artwork. So if you have your own artwork itself, you can actually convert that artwork into, if you have like a picture art, you can actually convert that picture art into like a 3D artwork that would also be viewable in augmented reality
amazing.
on the web.
So for artists that want to showcase their portfolio as well for their art, this is the go-to for you as well. And we have another question in the chat that says, when you say store, will it be a marketplace where users can put up their own models for sale? That's quite an interesting take. Ahmed, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, yes. So ideally, right, we are only integrating with the store. So what I mean is, if you want your 3D model to be available on the store, then you just need to reach out to our partners, and you can then get your 3D model on the store. But what SwiftXR is for is just to say that you can easily add 3D object or 3D models right inside SwiftXR. So we are not going to enable our user put objects there, but we enable our users download 3D models into SwiftXR.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much for that. And with that, we don't have any more questions. We've come to the end of today's session. And please, if you have any questions at all, make use of the feedback form, join our Discord channel, and we would be happy to support you throughout your journey with creating AR VR experiences with SwiftXR. And do have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much, and bye.
So,
Yeah.
I think one last question. The
Okay.
chat.
Do we have one more question? Oh, interesting. This one just came in. Oh, so it says, oh, I saw those components, but I wasn't sure how they worked. I was going to ask. So, what's the difference between a model viewer, AR model viewer, and e-commerce viewer? Okay, let's answer that just before we go. Sorry about that.
So what I've done here, right, is that I've dropped a do this. So I've dropped a 3 by 3 column here. I'm also going to delete this particular column, so it's clear. So now I'm going to drop a model viewer. I'll drop it here. I'm going to actually collapse this so we have more space. I'll drop an AR model viewer. and I will drop an indexing model viewer. Okay, perfect. So the difference is that you can see if you look at this particular um, model viewer, right? You see it doesn't have any button. So the normal model viewer assumes that okay, you just want to display your 3D object on the web. That is it. That is the end of everything. You don't want to go into AR or VR. The AR model viewer assumes that okay, you want to display your object on the web, but you actually want to display it also in AR, right? In the future, we'll be having a VR model viewer, which is that you have your model on the web, but you also want to view it also in VR. Now, the e-commerce model viewer is a particular component that's actually designed for our e-commerce customers, and it enables you to switch. So look at this, right? I'm going to add like just two objects. So object one and object two. Right in my files, I will drop in a box component here, and also drop in like an art component here. You can see that's right. If I click the box, I can switch to the box. If I click the art, I can also switch to the art. So this is a component that our e-commerce users use to, render, multiple hundreds of objects on the web on their e-commerce site. Hope the answers the question. Again, on how to use the e-commerce model viewer, we have our documentation. If you go to our documentation, we have a tab there for the e-commerce or indexing model viewer, where you can actually read more about it on how to use it.
There we go. Awesome. So I hope that answers your question. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to join in the Discord and drop the questions there. We would be happy to answer as well. And just a bit over an hour. Once again, want to say thank you very much for everyone that joined this workshop. The workshop will still be made available on YouTube for you to watch later on as well. So once again, thank you very much. Any other thing from you, Isiak or Amit, before we end this?
I think that's pretty much it from me. You know, thank you
All
everyone for joining, and do have a wonderful day. So I would actually say that you should look forward to maybe like another session of this workshop probably next month. So this is going to be communicated to us, and like Tosin has rightly said, kindly join the Discord. This is a place where we put like where they get first-hand information of what's going on within the community, and you can also follow us on our social media pages so you can get to know when we make announcements. So yeah, thank you.
thank you very much, Isiak.
Mhm.
Yep, awesome everyone, and thank you for sticking to the end.
All right then. Have a great day, everyone. Bye once again.